I started today by teaching Aries to yield his hindquarters to pressure. He yields very well when I ask him to move without touch, but we hadn't done a physical hindquarter yield. This will translate to being responsive to my leg once we are riding more. I had only worked with Aries one day since I had ridden him before Christmas. The most important thing to do was to make sure he was at ease with any mistakes I may make while getting on him. This includes jumping up and down, leaping onto him, patting him all over, and sliding off. He probably thinks I am horrible at mounting a horse. As he becomes more comfortable with mounting, Aries starts to think of evasions. Here he steps sideways away from the mounting block. This is a good thing. This means he's becoming more comfortable. But it also means he's thinking of ways to get out of standing where I ask him to. We'll have to work on staying where he's told. I call this the beached whale approach to mounting a horse. If he can tolerate this horrible mounting job, he'll be fine when I actually mount like a normal person. Here I introduce him to a one-rein yield or one-rein stop. Once I start to ride on my own, I have to have a pretty good emergency brake. I have been a little leery about Aries' hind end. He is a kicker and doesn't spare any effort when he does kick. Here I'm messing with his tail. If a horse is really nervous, their tail is usually clamped down, so it's a good test to see if you can raise their tail. I have started to walk around his hind end, so I go from one eye to the other. I make sure that I am out of kicking range. You either go around the hind end of a horse far enough out of their kicking range, or right up next to them so they don't have as much power in their kick. The worst place to be is about 3 or 4 feet away, where their foot has reached maximum extension and power. I attach a rope to Aries' halter for reins and send him out to see what he thinks of them. Since Aries is pretty responsive on the lunge line now, I get to refine his movement and teach him how to carry himself properly. My friend and dressage trainer, Emily Giamona, came out to be my ground person for my ride on Aries. A good ground person is worth their weight in gold. They have to be able to handle a panicked horse should the need arise. So pick someone that is experienced and has good feel. We did several short rides before making a whole circle. When first riding a horse, I don't just get on and stay on for 30 minutes. I like to do as many short rides as I can. If you walk one full circle and then get off, the horse has had a successful ride. They lived, you lived. Then you get back on and start another one. This allows the horse to have many successful rides in one session. My friend and master horseman, Paul Dufresne, taught me that. I'll post his website in the blog. I highly recommend visiting his site. After several partial circles, we got around to a full circle. Aries was quite calm and relaxed about the whole thing. We ended the session by going over 1 rein yields and laying on Aries. Today I had my first riding lesson with Lena. I warmed him up and got on and off several times before Lena came in and we started to ride. Horses, and Aries in particular, like patterns. It isn't fair to go in and ask him to start working without first going through the checklist. Are you okay with this today? Good. How about this? Good. Aries had to get reacquainted with Lena. He still isn't really gentle to other people, but he remembered Lena quickly. For the first ride, I didn't do anything. Lena was steering and choosing speed. My job was to be up there and praise him. We decided to start off walking and see how he was. If he was good, we'd try trotting. I kept chatting with Lena. Firstly, this reminds Aries that I'm still there. Secondly, it keeps me from focusing too much on him and getting nervous. Lena also attached a rope to the pommel of my saddle. If Aries spooked or bucked, she said to pull up on this rope, like a bicep curl. This would push my seat down into the saddle and keep me from gripping Aries with my legs. As with the day before, I got on and off several times. Each time I got off, Lena would go and do something different with Aries. This gives his mind something else to think about. Aries was doing so well that we asked him to trot. We did just a few steps at a time and then would change directions. By changing speed and changing directions, we keep Aries from zoning out and possibly scaring himself. He started trotting so easily, never once flinching or jerking. He seemed to really enjoy it. After my lesson, we went and shot some footage in the forest behind the ranch for the trailer for the documentary.